So that is the reason I'm saying it. This is a good example. Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
the point
Yeah.
you were making.
So the example of this gentleman here, Greg, yes, it's like a person
He was close to the idea
who's
of
using a
things,
metal
yeah.
detector in order for him to identify plastic. He's using the wrong tool. He's using the tool of science which has limited scope for something that is metaphysical in nature.
I think he was
Like
actually
your
wrong.
consciousness.
Fair point. That's a very fair point.
I think he was actually wrong about Einstein too, because I read once Einstein was asked about whether the universe was chaotic, and he answered, "God doesn't make mistakes." And when you've got, and I read the Stephen Hawking book, A Brief History of Time, and it's a great book, and in that they do talk about God, scientists, because when they're accepting there was a starting point of creation, they're accepting a creator, so they're accepting God.
But the definition of a creator varies from.
Well, absolutely. I mean, God's just a word. It could be infinite.
Yeah, so
wisdom, it could be the universe,
his
it could
idea
be
of
anything.
God was not
It's just a loaded
so
word.
he was making the assertion that Einstein did not believe in a personal God but a pantheistic God.
Yeah.
So in other words, he's like
creator.
he's
God's just a
he's
word.
a theist. He's not an atheist. He's still a theist. If you believe in a pantheistic God, you're a theist. You're not an atheist.
God's just a word. I mean, I could replace the word God.
Yeah,
with
there's
a number
different concepts of
infinite
God, you're
wisdom,
right.
Source energy, the universe.
Yeah.
So people get so hung up on the word God, but when you're accepting that, the Big Bang Theory, a starting point of creation, you are accepting a creator. The only opposing view would be if time and space always was.
Yeah,
There was no
that's
starting
fake.
point. Absolutely, but they don't believe that science. Science have accepted this idea of the Big Bang Theory, so they are accepting a creator of sorts. Right?
And when the reason he didn't bring the Big Bang Theory is that because we know that the Big
Isn't being
Bang
recorded anymore, is it? Or?
that's fine, yeah.
Oh, okay.
As long as you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
So the Big Bang Theory is something which is the most accepted model of the origin of the universe. Okay. The reason he actually didn't want to bring that up is because you know that it has a start, and obviously anything that is limited in scope, like the universe, it has an end as well. Because
Must have.
yeah. So what he did was he actually did this. He actually brought in a model which is the least accepted among the scientists, which is called the cyclic universe. That means it expands and collapses, for which there is no evidence. So there is no evidence that once a universe collapses, it starts a cycle again. There's no evidence. So this is just something which is it's more like a guess, as at best. Yes, not even a postulation with evidence, because when you postulate the theory, you need to substantiate it. The reason many people actually bring this in is because they know that God is eternal, so they have to bring in something eternal to counter it. And what they do, they bring in the least, the least
Skeptical.
accepted model for the origin of universe, which is this cyclic universe. So anyone who has read about the cyclic universe, they would know that what entropy is something. Because of entropy, the cycles become bigger and bigger. Yes. What that means is that at one point, these cycles were much smaller as you go back in time. It goes to a point where it says there was a beginning of the cycle. That means it's not eternal. So even from that perspective, yes, if he had done his homework, he would know that. He didn't even know the meaning of entropy. When I asked him the first time, he said heat or something like that.
Was he a scientist? Or?
He says he's into physics.
Right.
But these are all things which you learn in basic physics.
It's a hobby, a pastime.
Whatever it is. He said he was better than Newton.
That's what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said. So this is ego. When your ego plays in, then it clouds your judgment. And this is what happens. Unfortunately, when you actually start saying things like, I'm a better scientist, or I know more than Newton. No, he wasn't. He was pretty serious about it. What he was
It was just tongue in cheek. It was a bit.
yeah. No, he wasn't. He was pretty serious about it, because what he was saying is that since Newton died, we have had many discoveries, so we know a lot more things than Newton. Obviously, you would, but no one would compare Newton not being a scientist or not being a great scientist and saying I'm better than Newton. I mean, this is just ego, if you ask me.
No, but
So
from his perspective, he might be though.
he might be what?
Like from his perspective, he might be better.
But from his perspective, he could be like 10 feet tall. You know, that doesn't make it true.
Yeah, but that's what we consider reality, because reality is in a way subjective, because
Reality is not subjective. Who told you that?
in a way it is.
What do you mean in a way?
I will explain to you how it is.
Are you for real?
But there is a possibility that we could be in a simulation. But is it more probable? Probably not, because there's not really much evidence to say
Yeah,
that
but
there is.
where is what do you mean not much evidence? There is zero evidence that you could just be a figment of my imagination.
There's a possibility. It's a
No,
possibility.
it's not a possibility even.
But how
Would you say, on what basis would you say there's a possibility?
Well, wouldn't you agree that all things are equally possible?
No. No, there are certain things which are observable facts. You cannot deny
Maybe
that.
in,
Otherwise,
do you believe in other dimensions? Do you believe in other dimensions?
Do you
or not?
believe that the earth could be flat?
Do you believe in other dimensions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then all the possibilities must be equally equal.
Not all the possible. What do you mean all possible?
I mean,
Do you think it's
Why-
possible for the earth to be flat?
how is that relevant?
No, but
You said everything is possible.
Well, we know that the
Maybe
earth
in
is
some
not flat.
dimension.
So you
my
could be
point
a
is-
flat earther. I'm speaking to.
Well,
See what I mean?
If we're talking about reality, what
No,
is
you need to. You need
What
to
is
look.
truth?
You need to. You need to
truth.
accept one thing.
Define
There are things which are real, and there are things which are unreal. Okay.
Well, how do you define that?
How do you
Well,
define real
it's very simple. I mean, if you do not, then what is the point of us even talking if things are unreal?
Well, that's the whole
But
point.
you
What is
wouldn't
real? That's the
know.
whole
You wouldn't
point.
know
What is
though.
real?
Would you know if?
Then
you
far. If you guys don't even know your existence, then you are far removed from your reality of this world.
Define real. What is
Define
real?
Well, anything, anything which you can perceive as
Okay.
being factual. For example,
So,
if
can
I were to ask
Can
you,
I ask you a question? Do you know of the experiment with the hand? Do you know that experiment?
Yeah.
Where they pull a
Yeah.
fake hand. Right. What you're perceiving
Is a perception.
Is a touch, right? But that's not even a real hand. So how is that real? How do you feel the sensation? How is that real?
how do you feel the sensation?
Yeah, if it's
Like
not
I said,
real.
it's because-
And then when you hit it with a
Yeah.
hammer, they take their hand out.
Yeah, it's
Right,
because-
they feel the pain.
No,
Is
they
it
don't,
real
they don't
pain?
feel the pain.
Is it real or
No, they don't feel the pain.
Why do they-
What they do is the reason is because of their because they're frightened of being hurt.
If something frightened of something unreal, so it doesn't.
Let me
Define
let me
real.
let me
How
let
do
me
you
tell you what.
define
If you have been
truth?
indoctrinated to such an extent where you fear certain things. For example, many people fear the darkness.
Yes.
Yes, just because you switch off the light, they feel afraid. Why? Because this is the way they have been indoctrinated to such an extent.
So it's an illusion.
So are you?
No, it's not an illusion. In their mind, the fear is real.
Exactly. That's the whole
Okay,
point.
wait a
It's
minute.
not real.
No, it's real. In their mind,
The
they
fear is real.
think that the fear is real. But the reality,
It's an
reality,
illusion.
is
It's
the-
a concept. It's
exactly.
it's a
The illusion,
concept.
the illusion of the concept that they've created in the mind. Remember, they've created this.
So it's not
not
real,
real.
is it?
They've
So
created
couldn't
this.
you have created this?
So how would you define
No.
real then?
You could
So
not
what is
have.
real?
No. If you guys do not, if you don't know how to differentiate between reality and something which is an illusion, then you do not even exist.
Well, give us the definition of trust, of truth. Truth and reality is truth, right?
Well,
So what would be the
reality is
truth?
truth. Whether you believe it or not, the reality will exist. So, for example, there are many there are many people who believe that the earth is flat. Yes, but the reality is different. Yes, we know that, unless you guys are flat earthers here. So, even though they say this is a fact, by the way, they do say it's a fact, isn't it? Those flat earthers.
Yeah.
They say, yes, the earth is flat, but is that real?
But see, I think
So just because they believe something is a fact doesn't make it
you're
real.
getting too caught on the technicality. You can't.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you demonstrate.
No, I'm with
evidence.
you. But I just want you to branch out, open your brain a little bit, and just open the possibility that maybe just have a conversation. You know?
My friend, if you branch out to where you don't know the difference between reality and unreal, then that is something that is your prerogative, not mine.
Oh no, I'm just. But it's an invitation. It's simply an invitation.
If you want to have that, I know you invited me, but I reject your invitation.
That's all right.
That because I'm in touch with my reality. If you are not,
Fair
that's a
enough.
different thing.
Fair enough.
Maybe you should go see a doctor.
Maybe.
No, honestly, we have to, because
Are
you
you
see,
real? I wouldn't know.
if human beings do not understand the reality and something which is just an illusion, then you deny everything. You wouldn't be accepting anything. You would be a super skeptical individual who would never have peace of mind.
But there's got to be a
Because you think
definition.
everything is unreal. Is my mom real? Is my dad real? Are my children real? Is my family real? You know, like, where does it end?
There's got to be a definition.
That's what
I
I
would
was talking about,
define
reality.
reality as
Yeah,
truth.
but-
Was that?
And how would you define
Yeah,
truth?
I mean, no.
There's got to be a definition.
Yeah,
So I would
exactly.
define reality as truth. And how
No, but whose reality?
Who?
Like I said, the flat earth's reality is different to yours and mine.
Exactly.
But it's not true.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's the truth.
But it's not truth.
Can I ask
To
you a
whom?
question? Do we all?
Reality and
Wait.
Okay.
Just one sec, just one sec.
Reality and truth
Just
are
one
the
sec.
same thing.
To whom is not the truth? To us or to them?
Answer me this.
So
Do
it's
we all
subjective?
experience
So it's
different
subjective.
realities? Do we all experience different realities?
Do we all experience
Different
the
realities.
similarities in the
No,
reality?
no. Answer my question with a yes or no.
Not,
Do we?
not in everything. Not in everything.
Okay.
There are certain things, for example, if I asked you,
Okay.
are you a human?
But we're all playing a different
What?
movie.
You don't know you are human or not? Are you, could you be a monkey?
So it's subjective.
You could.
Who knows?
You could be.
The possibilities are
Then
endless.
you don't know what's a monkey. If you don't know the difference between a monkey and a human, then you got a lot. You need a lot of help, my brother.
Well, that's a good point, actually.
What's that?
What is objective truth?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. I'll demonstrate an objective truth to you. By the way, you asked a question that our realities are different. Very good. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Imagine you go to a room where the temperature is a bit cold for you. You enter the same room, but for you it's perfectly room temperature. It's not cold, not too warm, not too hot. It's just perfect for you. You both enter the same room. Now, how do I ascertain what the temperature of the room is? Any guesses?
Thermometer.
Thank you. That is the objective truth. Because the thermometer reading, regardless of what you feel or what you feel, will give me an objective. Wait.
Okay, then
will
what's
give me the
the-
objective
what-
truth and the
Okay,
exact measure of the
I have
temperature of the room.
What is your thermometer?
Does that answer your question?
What is the thermometer that
Depending
you
on how
use
it's calibrated.
to measure this? What is the
Don't
thermometer?
try to.
What is,
Over
what is the
over-
thermometer that
sorry?
what is the thermometer that you use to measure this? What gives you the objective?
Well, let me
Oh,
put-
you mean measure what? To measure the reality?
Well, let me
Yes.
put it this way.
Oh my God!
Let me
Seriously?
Let me put this to you. So,
Answer my questions
That's
because
the three of us.
you never answer good questions because you know it's
You
gonna
know,
humble you.
but you think your question is good.
Well, whether it's good or not, how about
I've already answered your question, did you not? Look, my reality, the reason, you know that thermometer, did you believe in the measurement of the thermometer?
Yes.
You
I
did.
do.
Why is that?
But then I asked
No,
you a
wait.
question.
Why is that? Why did you believe that thermometer reading?
Because
that's
it's a
an-
one-dimensional
it's a
measure.
I didn't ask you, I'm asking him.
Oh, you're so arrogant.
Yes, I am.
It's
Okay, listen.
I actually want to get rid of you.
But it's not going to work.
What's the answer?
Yeah. So why did you believe the thermometer reading?
But you need to
Because it's
recommend
objective.
Because?
It's objective.
Why is it objective?
You tell me.
Well, you said it's objective, so tell me why it's objective.
Because you know what objective means, right?
Yeah, well, what
But
is
I don't
it?
have to explain why it's objective.
No,
You know
no,
the
why?
definition.
Yeah, what is the objective definition in this case?
The objective definition of this case is that you measure the heat with the thermometer.
No, but why is it objective?
Because you can prove its existence.
You know why? Because it doesn't matter where you take that evidence,
independent,
it is something that everyone will accept because there is no bias here in terms of
It's
your
independent
of
from
your
each
subjective understanding of the temperature of the room or your. So it doesn't matter where you take it. That same, what do you say? That same instrument is going to be the evidence for anyone and everyone. Doesn't matter who it is. Okay. Now that's the reason it's objective. Now, without you being conscious of your environment, will you be able to take that reading?
Mate, I think you're fumbling yourself.
No, I'm
very
not.
sorry.
I'm not. Answer the question.
I need to understand the question. I need it to make sense.
You don't answer
What?
questions.
Your consciousness?
He has other
Which
lawyers.
part doesn't make sense?
I'm
That you being conscious to be reading?
Showtime.
Reading?
if you would just
Is that the reason you're here?
That's why I'm standing behind you.
Yeah, that's where you belong. Okay, carry on.
It's a
You're such a clown. When are you going to grow up? I thought you might have grown up by now. but
Here's a
no
question.
chance.
But why are you standing next to a clown then?
Because I enjoy entertainment. Same as you.
Good, so you are in a circus.
Beat that one. Well, at the moment.
Right, I'm the ringmaster,
To
so
my
you shut up.
left, yes. To my left. Yeah.
I'm the ringmaster, you shut up. Okay, so
your
go on.
So it's a
Okay,
question.
Yeah, go on.
It's a question. So there's five of us stood here now having a
Yeah.
conversation. But you know, we're all on the same kind of space-time continuum, right? The same kind of dimension. But we're all playing a completely different movie in our heads. You know, your belief is different to my belief. So where's the objective truth there? Who decides what the
Where's the
objective
thermometer?
truth is?
That
Where
is,
is it?
look, when you don't even, when you are unsure about your reality, about whether you live in a real world, whether you yourself are real, then I think you're far lost and cut off from the reality.
But you never answered my question. Where is the certainty?
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
can I just put,
Go ahead.
Let me put this.
You were pretty certain about the reading of the instrument, which is
No,
called
actually,
the thermometer,
what-
without you being
What I was-
real about your own self.
What I
let
was
me put-
certain of
let me
is
put one
the
other way.
uncertainty. I'm certain of the
Are
uncertainty.
you certain you exist?
Do I exist? Do you exist?
See what I
Are we
mean?
here?
So,
This guy's super skeptical.
yeah, absolutely. So
I think he needs help.
So I could say that I could say
We all
don't
need
don't
help,
believe a
don't
word
we?
I say.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
I'm coming
You don't
from.
need any help.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I
See,
could
that's the
say-
first
Not,
problem.
not in identifying
And not
between the
in
reality
anything.
and
In anything.
unreal.
Not admitting the problem is the first
So
problem.
I could say.
So you admit you don't even know you exist.
No, but there is a difference between a
What happened to that
collective
grin?
reality and an individual reality.
Look at that grin.
So I could.
No, honestly, a person
Well, I could say-
needs help seriously if they cannot differentiate
Well, let me say
between
this.
the real world and something which is imaginary.
Well, let me say
because
this.
that is called psychotic
Well,
problems.
let me say this. I can say, don't
Yeah.
believe a word
Don't let
I
me
say
stab
because
you.
I'm coming from my truth. I'm not representing
From his
myself as
individual
telling the truth, but my truth. And you would have your truth. And who's to say one is right and one is wrong? We're all coming from our truth and our perspective.
What are you talking about? Which because
It's a
this
conversation, not an argument.
Well,
It's a
hold on.
conversation.
by the way, I'm talking to him. Stop interrupting.
I think I'm saying.
Okay, go on.
The arrogance of the man.
My question is to him, not to you. So which reality are you talking about?
I think I'm saying that.
Which reality are you talking
so
about?
well, you don't
Because
see
that
this
gets you
when they put it
views.
out.
I think I'm saying that.
What?
It can only be subjective truth. Colin.
Why?
We're all
Why is
living
truth
our own
subjective?
truths.
I just gave you the
Where's
example.
objective truth? Who's right?
I gave you the
the
example.
objective truth? What is
You
the
have your
objective
truth.
truth?
I think you're just here to joke.
Varies
Who's
from
right?
person to
No, I'm
person.
serious.
You know, initially I thought you were someone who was someone who is
Really
worth talking to, but now I've realized that you're not even aware that you exist or not.
So
Go find that out
I think
first.
what I'm saying is it's
Yeah.
subjective truth only.
very
Sure.
No.
Who
Very
decides
powerful.
Do you remember that I gave you when you asked me about the subjective?
who's right?
How do you
Am I
differentiate
right or you
between
right?
objective
He
truth
is, of course,
and
on
subjective
everything.
truth? I gave you the example of the thermometer. Do you believe that is subjective truth?
Well, it's objective. If it's independent.
No. Is it an objective truth? The reading of the thermometer.
In that case, I would have to say yes. But what's the objective
There you go. That's
truth
your answer,
in
then.
our beliefs and our perspective?
Okay, now you're talking about the beliefs. See, now
Who's right
now
and
this
wrong?
is a different
Yeah, that's
a
the
different
question.
topic.
Exactly.
So there are things you will agree which are objective truths out there which we all recognize. For example, the temperature reading from a thermometer. Okay, this is an objective
So
truth.
the answer is subjective.
No.
Subjective truth.
Not every
There's no
truth is
objective.
subjective.
There's
Okay,
no objective truth.
there are truths
You're
which are
not right and I'm
which
not
are
wrong. You're
objective.
not wrong
For
either.
example, if I ask you about the shape of the Earth, you're going to tell me it's flat.
You really like this.
What if I believe that?
Yeah, would you say it's flat?
Well, I mean, my
So
beliefs
these
are
are
different to your
so
beliefs,
these are
right?
things
So
which
who's
we
right
all
and who's
accept because sometimes what you see, yes, it's not. It's is
I
that?
want it over there.
No, we're ignoring him anyway. Don't worry.
You say we? Is that the royal we?
It is, yeah.
right.
So what I'm saying,
Opposed to the royal shit.
well, that will be you, which I'm ignoring. Thank you. So what I'm saying here is that.
I'm ignoring it that
By,
way.
by the way,
Keep-
do you believe that objective truths or you don't?
Well, I guess there must be an objective.
No,
truth.
don't guess.
I-
Tell me,
I
do you
see-
believe or not?
I see subjective truth everywhere.
Do you not see objective truths at all?
Well, I'll tell you what I did see the other week. I was watching Fox News, right? And it's
Of all the news in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know why I did, but I did.
Okay, go on.
But it struck me that there's no difference between Fox News and CNN. They're exactly the same. They're just kind of commentating on the world through their perspectives.
Yeah.
But who's right and who's wrong? CNN have got no right to say Fox are wrong, and Fox have got no right to say CNN are wrong. But they're both on completely opposing.
Yeah, but news can be right or wrong. We don't deny that.
It's going through their filter. It's going through their perspective. They're commentating on the world as they see it. But who's right and who's wrong?
No, but
Completely subjective.
But
surely.
there are instances
Everything has to
where,
go through a filter,
for example, if they are reporting on, say, an earthquake in Japan, both of them reporting, you cannot say who's wrong or who's right if they have video evidence for you.
Well, they come through their filter. They come through their filter. They're
Well, whatever it is, if there,
their perspective.
if you have multiple reports of an earthquake happening in Japan,
shook the
yes,
earth and we all died. Another report will say that plate tectonics stuck and
Exactly.
gutted.
it's not a circus. We are talking about an earthquake.
I don't think
Okay.
you can have a neutral kind of event because it's always got to go through the filter of whoever's seeing.
No, but then where do you stop?
Let me finish.
Yeah, where do you draw the line about reality and unreal?
Hold on, let me finish that because we put energy and meaning into stuff, so we're really experiencing ourselves, aren't we? Because everything has energy that we put into it. We make it something. What we make it is what it becomes. It's kind of impossible.
What do you mean
to
energy?
experience
What do you mean you
something
put
neutral.
energy? I don't understand.
Well, it's kind of everything you see. You put some energy and meaning into it. You make it something. It's impossible to see anything because you're telling stories about everything that happens to you. Aren't you? You look back and
Are you saying that you do not believe anything that you see?
I'm not saying I don't believe things that I see, but I
What do you mean you're putting energy? I don't understand what you mean
I
by that.
create a story. We all create.
No, we are not
stories
talking about
things.
we are not talking about arbitrary random things. I'm saying if you see something, for example, do you have children?
No,
Do you have parents?
parents.
Yeah.
I think I do have parents.
I mean, are they alive? That's what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah. So if do you believe they're your parents?
From his
This has
experience,
gone
you can
away
say
from
yes.
the point we were just making.
No, it is because I'm telling you about objective
Seems like a
truths.
different
Wait.
conversation.
I'm telling you about objective truths. No one here will deny that they came from
be your parents. What's that?
Yeah, they came from a male and a female.
Yeah.
No one will deny that, okay? So what I'm saying is that there are certain truths which are objective, no one can deny. But if you're going to question, wait. If you're going to question each and everything that you see as being subjective.
How do you learn if you don't ask questions?
You ask me.
How do we learn if you don't
Did I tell you not to ask questions? But I'm asking you, what I'm saying is do not
to question
No. When did I say don't question anything?
Believe it all. That's what you just said.
Don't be silly. I didn't say that.
You just asked.
I said do not ask silly questions.
You just asked me about energy. You just asked me.
Don't ask silly questions that you exist or not.
You just asked me about energy and meaning, right? Let me explain what I mean by that. So
Bend down, Junior.
anything that
Want me
happens
on my
to
knees?
us.
What would you like me to do next?
Have you obsessed?
Let's get down on your knees and see how you behave.
Why do you want me on my? Why are you so many Muslims
Okay.
obsessed with gays?
What is it?
You want me on my knees, you filthy pig.
Oh, is that the only way you perceived? Wow,
Why else would I
your
be
brain
on
is
my knees?
perverted.
Why would I be
So
on
every
my
time,
knees in front of you?
anytime a
Why
person
would
gets
you
on his
want me on
knees,
my knees?
it has to involve sex
What would it involve
because he's a
with you?
pervert.
What would it involve
Just
with
prove
you?
that you're a
What would
pervert.
it involve with you?
I don't know, sitting down on your knees.
Sitting, you don't sit.
You're an idiot. If you think the only person who gets on his knees is for sex, what an idiot. Okay, so now back. You know that's why we don't talk to
You're
him
an
because he's
intellectual
pervert.
powerhouse,
Because
aren't
he's a
You're
pervert.
an intellectual powerhouse.
You're just a pervert.
You're really an
Doesn't matter intellectual or not. So anyway, by the way, look, I think we have exhausted the discussion here.
He's got 5 microphones.
He's just jealous he doesn't have any.
Size of an intellectual
No one records
powerhouse.
him, you know, in the park.
5 microphones.
You know why no one records him? Because he's always been a pervert.
You asked
You've
me a
been
question
watching,
about
have
energy
you?
and meaning, right?
Through the
What
curtains.
What I meant by that is, you know, we think back about experiences and events, things that happen to us, and we can't help but tell ourselves a story about it. We can't see it neutrally.
Basic
There's a story
neuro-linguistic
about it.
programming. I recommend you read.
Why don't you
might
shut up?
add-
Somebody's talking
Read a
here.
bit of NLP. You will learn about social
energy
science.
Let's carry on somewhere else because we got an idiot here, and I don't want to.
Is that really worth it? No, but NLP. Just read a bit of basic NLP.
Get on your
You
knees.
will learn a lot.
Get on your knees. Let's ignore that idiot and we'll move down here. Assalamu alaikum, bro. You're right. Sorry, we didn't even. Inshallah.
You're busy at work. NLP.
Are you following me like a puppy?
Yes,